Hey, yo, check this out. We got a real great service provided for you right now. If you're a serious artist looking to perfect your craft, get your music out there in front of millions and millions of views, then look no further than right here. Hip Hop News, Uncensored, Raw Hip Hop News, and the Uncensored True podcasts are now running specials to promote your product. If you're serious about promoting your product on YouTube, email me right here at dlsmediainc1@gmail.com or my brother OGod at hiphopun.com for further information. If you're serious about your craft, very affordable pricing. Let's go. Wait no further. Look into it right now. Email's in the description box. Hit us up. You already know.
Welcome to another episode of the Uncensored Truth Podcast. I'm your brother OGod from Hip Hop News Uncensored, and sitting across from me is my co-host.
What it do? What's good? It's your brother Samant, Viral Hip Hop News. We're in the building. Another episode of the Uncensored Truth Podcast. Oh God, man, been busy last couple of days.
Yeah,
finally good to be back. What's good, my brother?
Yes, sir. We back in the building. We ready to give y'all some non-stop content. We actually going to get y'all caught up. We missed a few stories. We've been a little busy. Would have been grinding the last few days, but you know what is what it is. So we here, man. And it's been a lot that's been going on, you know, in the world, you know, of hip hop and just all around. You know, hip hop runs the world, you know, as we know. But we was sitting down the other night. We was listening to on my timeline came up the Yanadameen podcast. Shout out to Lord Jamar, you know, and he had Vlad, DJ Vlad on there. You know, Vlad TV. Everybody knows, you know, one of the top, you know, hip hop outlets, you know, out there right now. And one episode they kind of talked about, you know, that they released, you know, how he kind of got into hip hop and what he was doing. You know, talked about selling DVDs, and then they kind of, you know, they dropped the second episode. And then it was like the title, something like, you know, Vlad pretty much addresses the culture vulture, you know, phrase that's been thrown around and pretty much coined and created by Dame Dash. And shout out to him and Kiata Griggs. You know, they got a wonderful book called The Culture Vulture. So I showed Samant the video. Then 2 came out. I think I sent it to you. We checked it out. And we're going to play a little bit. We want to give our little critique on it. We're going to play a little bit, you know, right now. But we're going to leave the link to the full podcast in the description box. Y'all can actually check out, you know, both parts. And shout out to that podcast. But yeah, we want to give our commentary on that, you know, and get y'all opinion in the chat room. So Samant, man, what you think about Vlad on Yanadameen podcast with Rah Digga and Lord Jamar?
Well, I mean, before I get in my one too, let's hear what he said.
Yeah. No.
We got some people that call you DJ Vulture, right? Okay. The term culture vulture has been made popularized by the homie Dame Dash. We had a discussion about what we feel the definition is, and you know what I mean? There might be degrees to it. What do you feel, DJ Vlad, about being called the culture vulture? Do you think it is a fair moniker? And, you know, do you think it's applicable to you? Right.
Well, I think from a certain standpoint, a person would consider me a culture vulture. You know, I'm a white Russian kid that makes money in a black art form. So under that definition in and of itself, that would make me a culture vulture. Other people might say, well, he's from the culture, and, you know, and he gives back. He has people like Jamar, and he has, you know what I'm saying, like different, you know, figures that uplift the culture. So my son, you know, even Big U from the Rolling 60s, you know, one of our really big interviews talked about how he came from this life, and now he has lowered the gang violence in LA, helped to lower it to a time from when there wasn't any gangs. You know what I mean? He has a program where he goes and diffuses situations, you know, from all the different neighborhoods around LA. So I try to definitely give back. So from that definition, someone might say, well, no, he's not. It's a, you know.
Let's talk. Let me stop it right there. Oh God.
Yeah.
That was, I mean, great way to even start the conversation.
Facts.
With the question and then the answer from Vlad TV or DJ Vlad, excuse me. One thing that I brought up, and I said it, I texted it to you. I said it on our pre-production podcast that'll be out tomorrow. Shout out to our pre-production. We got some real dope things, dope content dropping right there. But I said I had a lot of respect for Vlad, and then you gave that was your reaction. You know
they're gonna roast you in the comments.
Well,
boy.
I mean, we're gonna be real about it. We're gonna let real recognize real quick, because he never dances around the question. We had Leo Cohen, he was on the Breakfast Club probably about a month ago now, and that question was also raised, and he danced around that motherfucker like a figure skater. You know what I mean? Who is Dame Dash? He didn't even acknowledge that man's existence. So to say that he answered that question directly would that's laughable. But he did definitely give us the keys and let us know that is no doubt he's a culture vulture. There's no doubt. By definition, according to the book, yeah, Vlad falls under the line of culture vulture. Now, one question that I asked you after reading the book, I immediately said, yo, Dame Dash, the conversation came up with Vlad TV about culture vulture. And we were two of the people that, I mean, there's no doubt in it. There's no getting around it. We called him a culture vulture. And Dame Dash didn't. And it kind of was like, damn, that piqued my attention. Why didn't Dame Dash? He's the creator of culture vulture. Why didn't he? So by definition, Vlad TV basically put himself in that put himself in that. And I really respected that, because he said by his definition alone, he does. But then he brings up the fact that he does do for the culture. And that was real interesting to me. He allows people like Lord Jamar, my son, different various Black artists to come on his platform and talk about basically whatever they want. Yeah, he asked them the questions, but they have open forum to talk about what they want. Content's content to Vlad. If it was something controversial, if he got into it with somebody, that shit's dropping regardless. What do you think about that and that argument? Oh, God, because like I said, we are two people that have called Vlad a culture vulture. We're also two people, as much as you fucking laugh at me saying I respect him, I would think that you would you respect the dude too. So what do you think about what he had to say about being a culture vulture and what he's contributed to the culture? Is it enough? First,
let me throw this back. I'm gonna ask you.
Yeah.
Are you excusing Vlad because he came up in the culture and interview? He talked about, and we'll leave the link to the full interview in the description. Y'all can listen to him say it out of his own mouth. He talked about he kind of came up in a struggle. You know what I mean? You know, he was selling DVDs and whatnot. And he never said he was broke. He said he was making like he had $100,000.
Vlad was not broke.
Right. He never broke. And then we know about the Rick Ross situation, you know, so he calls himself a culture vulture. But newsflash, everybody. These labels and even a lot of these other hip hop outlets out there are owned by non-blacks who we would consider culture vultures. So I don't have a problem with you saying that you respect them. I don't have a problem with that, you know, at all. I was kind of just, you know, because he did what he had to do to get in the position. He's seen something, he says, with the YouTube, you know, he has the website right now. So he just, you know, carved out his niche, you know, in the game. It is what it is. You know what I mean? I know that. But our thing is to provide, you know, an alternative, not to complain about it. Yeah, we got to point him out who these people are, but provide the alternative. And then once you provide the better product, then the people will come to the better product. That's what I think we got to start to do, you know, with this whole, you know, situation. But most of these companies out here are not owned by us. So, you know, that needs to change.
Well, I mean, you asked me the question, do I give him a pass?
And yeah. Are you giving Vlad, you know, a pass because, you know, he came up in the culture, and because Dame Dash doesn't necessarily call him a culture vulture? Does he get a pass?
Nah, Dame Dash doesn't speak for me, though. I'm not saying that.
Oh, okay.
By no means. I don't give him a pass.
He did coin the term, though.
But he coined the term, exactly. Right. So based off of his coin of him saying that, that's who I'm referencing it off of. But do I give Vlad a pass? A pass on what? Because we called him a culture vulture off the strength of, yeah, he has a lot of these black artists on here, but he talks about a lot of their law.
Yeah, but again, he's not forcing them to. He got a gun to their head saying answer.
Who's making them answer it?
Right.
He could he would equally have someone in that chair and go, yo, why the fuck are you asking me all these questions? And that's just getting dropped. The only how you could beat somebody like that, you couldn't complain. And Rick Ross kind of learned this. You know, you can't just beat him up. You can't talk shit on. Only how you can beat, you know, this is provide, you know, the alternative, or, you know, do it better than they do it. If not, it's just like everybody beating on drums and nobody cares. He's still making his money. People are still interviewing. They still giving him the information. So does he deserve his place in this conversation? Let's say
he's a businessman,
right?
Yeah, I mean, he did what he had to do with his business. I mean, nobody gave him, you know, anything per se. He seen a niche in the business, and he exploited that niche. This is what America is. You know
I don't
what
think he gives a fuck about being called a culture vulture. He doesn't.
Right.
Whether somebody calls him it or not, I don't think that really bothers Vlad. He's going to continue to do what he does. You never answered the question, though, because I say I respect him, but you never said you did.
Right.
And you never talked about him being a culture vulture. So one, do you not respect Vlad TV for what he's doing? Does he not have a place proper in this conversation, in this culture? Should he be removed by bigger competition? Or I mean, what's your thoughts on Vlad? You ain't really said much about
my thought, first and foremost, I did I did my research. I wanted to see, how, I did it on him and the complex owner. They had a good special on that. And I wanted to see actually how, because I used to take a standpoint of being one of those people who just talked and complained about it. I'm like, you know what? How did he actually do this? And I seen how, I was like, okay, he just did this, and this. And instead of being the people, even like when you talk about when we had this cluster of hip hop, platforms, and we talked about that, in our personal time.
Right.
It was like, you had your world stars, this, and this, and it kind of like one's kind of separated themselves, and went to the top, and it just is what it is. And why that happened is because people, regardless of, what type of product they were putting out, their product was better than the other people's product, period. And the people flocked to those people. Nobody forced those people to go anywhere. The people wanted to go to these companies. They wanted to get the news from here. They wanted to go to these YouTube channels to get the information from these people because the way they package their product, period. And they got to the situation now where they're millionaires, and they got a lot of different hip hop. And now, do I respect, Vlad TV is the question.
Yeah, let me add this on this before you answer that question, because we both know how difficult it is to not only provide just exceptional content, but to get it to the viewer, to get it to the consumer. We know Google, like you said, it's a cluster of people. It's not easy to get it, not only to give them quality content, but then to get in front of their faces. So that in itself, for Vlad TV to be able to do that, for Vlad to be able to do that, I think is commendable in itself too. So go ahead and answer your question.
Nah, it's just I agree with you. He just, first of all, everybody's kind of doing the same thing. He wanted to carve out a niche, so he said, look, we're going to start just doing original content, doing our own interviews, sitting down, putting somebody, whether I'm there or not, putting them in a nice little background. I'm going to bring these people on, whether it be B-list, C-list, whatever. I'm going to bring them on. I'm going to put these interviews. I'm going to talk about, things. And I'm going to not only do that, I'm going to get a website. I'm going to invest in that. I'm going to invest in learning copyright, which people know, is in the marketing field, the way things are worded, and he put it out there. Now, my thing is that people can say what they want, but he's still getting the views. The people are still flocking. So does he need to be eliminated? I'll say no. No, I think, he has his place. World Star has their place. We have our place. Everybody has their place. But, he did what he did. He did what he did, and he's at where he's at.
No, I think you and I will both agree that. Well, okay, well, let me ask you this. Would you put him in the same bucket as you put a Leor Cohen, or as we do? Because we had a real good conversation about Leor, and I think both of us would, there's no denying that he definitely has done some rotten shit. And when it comes to the music industry, Culture Vulture, definitely he deserves that rank. He deserves that title. Do you put Vlad and Leor in the same conversation?
I don't put them in the same conversation. I don't, and I can look around and it's like, it's not a big shock to me where I see a Russian or Italian or Irish or somebody, in a position, a top position in hip hop, or up the street, or a hospital, or this. We don't have no institution that we really own. So it's not like a real big thing to me, to see, that these companies are rising to the top. My thing is like, now, us being young Black entrepreneurs, you don't tell me they can beat us at this. They can't beat us on the court. They not more intellectual than us. So how the hell they got the top hip hop platform? So I say beat they ass. That's all I say.
Well, it is more than content, because we could beat all day long with content, but we all know in order for it to be in front of people, you got to learn some other shit, and we got to cross our T's and dot our fucking I's and make sure that everything is taken care of so that we could get in front of the people. And I think that's where you see a Vlad kind of taken over because he understands the tech world of it. He had people that were doing coding for him and things like this. He understands that tech world, understands the importance of getting in front of people in a field in the internet where there's millions and millions of other people doing the exact same thing. We got to learn how to really play the game.
There you go.
We got to learn how to play the game.
There you go.
We sitting here thinking it's one game and it's a completely different fucking game. We ain't playing chess or checkers. Y'all playing baseball and they over here playing something, you know what I mean, completely different.
Yep.
Y'all got to understand the game that we're playing, and then maybe you'll start seeing us competing a lot heavier.
Miseducation of the Negro. We're not educated in the different things, you know. That's why we got to get educated. We got to learn this. Okay, in order to be successful, this is what you got to do. You got to come up with an original content. You got to do, you know, stay with the current topics. You know, not only that, this is other things that go with. You got to be good at it. You got to be great at it. You got to be on time with it. You know, you got to have, you know, the web. It's a whole bunch of things that go into it that a lot of people do very well. Just look at your top hip hop platform and see what they do very well. If you're not doing that, you know, either up to par or better than them, you're not going to be in a conversation with them. It's simple business, simple competition. I don't see nothing wrong with it. We don't never have a problem going against each other outside, on the field, even in the classroom, debates and stuff like that. So why now? We up for the challenge.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
I think the premise of this story is I think that we both don't mind Vlad around. I think we both have a certain amount of respect for what he's doing in his grind. And I mean, you still say fuck Vlad. I
mean, it's like, you know, he did what he did. You know, he doesn't hurt me. He did what he did. I mean, again, Vlad, we can go to Hot New Hip Hop. We can go to XXL. We can go to all these. We can go to the source. Yeah. Who sits on these boards? Or who runs these companies? That's what I mean. So it's just like, it's not really, you know, that big of a thing to me. You know, he does what he does well and what he does. You know what I mean? I ain't saying that, you know, a lot of people love his interviews. Yeah. A lot of people love him. That's why they get the views. It's not a fluke that people are going over there and checking it out. It's not a fluke that people deal with our platforms. It's not a fluke that people go to the Breakfast Club. It is what it is. But let's compete. Let's see who's standing at the end. That is what it is. I'm not going to say that they can beat us. They're not better than us. So let's bust their ass. Yeah, they had a little you know, ahead. They had a little you know,
head start.
You know what I mean? But we're gonna catch up. You know what I mean? It is what it is. So
I can't agree more.
You know, definitely. We can provide content. We can provide news. We can do all of that stuff. So definitely, man. But you're listening to the Uncensored Truth podcast with your brother, Oh God, and Sam, man. That was a real good segment right there, man. We appreciate that. Just a reminder, we're going to leave the link to that full interview in the description box. Y'all can check out the Vlad interview on Yanadameen podcast. So yeah, man, your boy.
Do me a favor, family. Hit the link in the description box. Purchase your very own new era viral hip-hop news hat. Like I said, the link will be in the description box right now. Don't wait. Don't miss out. Grab the hottest thing popping right now. The viral hip-hop news hats available in the link in the description box. Grab yours right now.